Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Bell Ringers podcast with yours truly, Ryan McDonald.
And I'm Ty Press.
Once again, as always, please subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/the Bell Ringers pod. Subscribe, like our content, tell your friends, comment, we'll always answer. And then follow us on our socials at Bell Ringers pod, all down below, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Spotify is Bell Ringers Pod. Give us a follow. Give us a rating. All appreciated. All right, before we get into some NFL news, let's talk about some news we got regarding our Sixers today. We've been struggling as of late. I think we're 2-11 currently. Not looking good. Embiid not really playing that well in the games he actually does play. And today we got a report that during a team meeting, Maxey challenged Embiid to be on time for team activities. You know, they've been not playing well, and apparently Embiid's really not showing up on time. So that's not really helpful.
Like you said, you like that someone is making sure Embiid's like being held accountable, but at the same time, I think you said something earlier. Like, I don't like that this came out. Like, I'd rather this have happened and us not know about it rather than once that's public news, then it's like Embiid's got to be dragged to practice, and it's not a good look for him either. And he's probably not happy. He might be looking at Maxey a certain way now, even though I doubt he's the one that released it. But
yeah, I mean, I would hope he doesn't. I would hope he kind of just respects Maxey now with like what he's done. Like Maxey's been in the league for, I mean, not that long, but hopefully long enough, and he's been so like, you know, a focal point for the team and a star that he kind of sees that and he's like, all right, yeah, maybe I do need to, you know, do something, because I this is probably one of the first seasons that I feel like Embiid's kind of, because I don't see Paul George being like necessarily like a leader for the team. So I think this is like one of the first seasons Embiid's not really had like a, you know, a second leader on the team or a leader above him to kind of, you know, maybe keep him in check. So hopefully he gets right and he realizes, you know, he's got to put in a little more effort, because I mean, at least like when he was playing last season, he was scoring 30 plus points before the fourth quarter even started. Yeah, he was going off, and he's just been, I mean, slow and all. I mean, I know he usually starts season slow, but this is, I mean, you got to pick it up here soon.
I mean, yeah, you gave the guy what he wanted. He got another star player like Paul George. No one expected our rookie to be the front runner of rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Like this, like we have pieces together here, and then it's like it's Sixers fashion. Like now we got the players, and now it's a lack of effort. Like
once
we get the talent to surround the guy, then he doesn't want to try.
Yeah.
It's pretty exhausting, honestly.
I
think I might be a puck guy going forward. Looking into these Flyers, even though I don't think they're doing much better.
I mean, Mitchkov has been electric, though. I mean, he's having a great rookie season.
Both teams got star rookies, but I don't think the whole team is doing good.
Yeah. But like at least like the Flyers, like, you know, like they're kind of like in the time period where like we're not expecting much.
Yeah,
like it's
absolutely.
it's almost like, I mean, obviously winning games is a ton of fun, and that's probably the most fun to watch as like a fan. But also like not having any hopes for your team and just having a good young player is some of the most fun to watch, because like, you don't care about losses as long as they're playing well and like they're scoring or whatever, and like look like they're having fun. That is some of the most fun to watch.
It's also big too when like if you're comparing the two teams, the Flyers have, like you said, a big future. This isn't the year that we're supposed to really do it. Neither was last year, but we did better than expected last year. We got the guy Mitch Cobb over here. We have a very, very young team with a lot of draft picks going forward. And on the counter, the Sixers, Embiid's time, like his clock of being valuable and healthy in the NBA is ticking. So kind of need it now or in the next 2 to 3 years, the Sixers, whereas in the next 2 to 3 years are all gonna be rebuilding years no matter how good our team is, because we have other teams' draft picks. So it's like the better the Flyers do, great, but like the Sixers need to win like now.
I forget what the exact like parameters are, but we don't necessarily own our first round pick this year for the Sixers. Like
Thunder, right?
Yeah, but like it's 1 through 6 protected. So like if we are terrible for the whole season and we get a pick in the top 5 or 6, we still keep it, which is nice. But I would really hope that we don't even perform that badly. I don't know if there's, because I know some of these are like we only give it up if it's in the lottery, and then if anything, it'll just turn into a second round next year. So I'm not sure about all that, but yeah, like you said, the championship window is closing with Embiid's health and just overall I don't know, like age, I guess. Like, he's getting older, and
He's
it's
getting
kind of
older,
it's
and
gonna
like when the star player team's a big ass center, it's not going to be that for long. Like
yeah.
he's not going to be that dominant force for
Yeah.
long.
Especially like I mean you have a guy like Jokic that like he really doesn't have much of an injury history that like I can really think of and remember. So like
He's
I'm
also
not
not as physical as Embiid.
yeah, but so, like, I'm not as worried about him like having the same issues. Whereas Embiid keeps like he always gets hurt, and some of them are like more fluke injuries. Like you have like the elbow to the face for like the orbital bone and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's like this is only going to get worse and worse.
you trying to make me all sad before we talk about the
Yeah.
NFL?
NFL. All right, we got the Week 11 recap. I'm sure most of you guys know this was not a good week for us. I,
Oh man,
think I went 4-0 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then came back around, and I had 0-4 the week this week.
have
So
we had an 0-4?
that I want to say probably, but I'm not positive. I'd have to look.
So what was funny too, I was gonna say I can't remember if we said it on the pod, but we might have. But like me and Ryan had the same exact over and under, and then we had a different. And then like we also the Sunday night game we had the opposite picks. So we had one pick that weren't related, and we were talking how like the one pick that we're going against each other is Sunday night. I was like, all of our other picks will be done. There's a good chance we're both 3-0 going into this Sunday night matchup where one of us will come out victorious and be 4-0.
Yep.
Well, yeah, exact opposite happened. Both of us were 0-3 going into Sunday, knowing that one of us was going to come out of this the loser of 0-4
Yep.
record.
Just fighting to not have that happen.
10:30 at night, I'm texting like, who's it going to be, Ryan?
And like the game started. I mean, the Chargers were destroying the Bengals in the beginning, and then I was getting
They let
real.
them make it close. Too.
I was getting really excited with the Bengals, scoring late and getting close, tying it up, and then it's under a minute left, and the Chargers get the ball on like their own 16, and I was like, all right, like going to overtime. I think that this might be all right for me, and then just like back to back to back, like 25 plus yard, like two passes, for like 28 and 29 yards, and then you have that Dobbins run, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, there's no way. I did have some belief. I mean, Bengals with 18 seconds left almost had a few nice plays to get down the field, but I was hoping for just one Hail Mary with like the Commanders did, but did not work.
Nope.
So yeah, 0-4. Lost my favorite being Green Bay -5.5. They barely beat the Bears, needing a blocked field goal to win 2019. I did not really expect that game to be even nearly that close. I don't know what's.
I don't want to touch any divisional matchups anymore.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna go one way, and then it's like are they always just close? Because I feel like sometimes the team beats the brakes off each other.
What's like,
or like
I feel like it's. I mean, it's almost kind of like hit or miss, just like the rest of the NFL games. It seems like, but like I would say usually divisional matchups tend like probably have a higher percentage of being closer.
it's closer, but are they high scoring? Are they low scoring? Like
I feel like
we took the Ravens Steelers on the over.
Yeah.
Just a week ago, I think it was Ravens Bengals, and they fucking were
Yeah.
nonstop scoring. And then you turn it over to the Ravens, and the Ravens defense suddenly acts up, and the Steelers can't score all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And obviously Pittsburgh's defense is really good, but the Ravens offense was supposed to be one of the hottest offenses in the entire league. So, like, you assume that they're going to be able to put up points against each other, and it was like 10-6 at half.
Yeah,
like, it was crazy.
And like the Ravens don't really have like the best defense this year. So like I thought I thought at least like having that, we'd get a higher scoring game. I didn't expect Pittsburgh to basically just score all
Only
field
field goals.
Which I mean helped me in fantasy because I had Boswell, but
I don't have Boswell, but I didn't verse him at least.
That one, like I said, I would try and stay away from overs in divisional games, but like that one, I was like you said, like with the Ravens and the Bengals earlier in this, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, all right, maybe like this, like they'll be able to get it done. Like Jane Daniels just put up like 27 points or whatever against the Steelers the week before. I was like, all right, like this might be able to at least be like a 50 point
high scoring matchup.
Yeah, doesn't have to be like the highest, but like, at least like around 50. And no, it was 34, so not even close.
Our over. No, our under of Jets Colts looked like it was gonna be okay, and then they just kind of started going back and forth with each other in like the second half.
I mean, Anthony Richardson just never makes sense. He's been not great all season, and then just somehow as 20 for 30 for 272 and a touchdown, And let me see what his rushing stats were. I mean, only ran for 32, so not bad. I mean, like Jonathan Taylor didn't do anything. Like Aaron Rodgers really.
AR took 2 rushing touchdowns off him, so.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, yards wise, he was 24 for
Yardage.
57. Especially like I mean, I don't even think when I made that pick I knew like Anthony Richardson was going to start, but like that would have made me feel even more comfortable with that pick.
I would have thought so too.
Instead, I ended up being what is that 55? Yeah, 55 points. So it hit the over by like 13 points, 12 points.
Yeah, way off. Way off in both of our overs and unders. Just to tap in, I took Jags plus I think 13.5 or 14.
13.
Thinking that's 2 professional football teams playing against each other. There's no way that you can completely embarrass an organization like that. And I think they proceeded to lose by I think over 36 points.
They lost by 46.
46 points? Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was 52 to 6. I mean, I did tell you, I was like, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, the way the Lions have been playing this year, they for some reason they're playing like a college football team where like they are trying to run the score up.
Yeah. I think the Jags pulled all their players and the Lions didn't. They just kept kept their starters in and kept scoring.
Which, like, I think I saw a stat where, I think I have it correctly, it's like Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery have all scored in the same games 8 times this year, and apparently that's like the most by any trio of players in NFL history.
Yeah,
and it's still week. It's only week 12.
It's crazy. It really is crazy stuff.
Yeah, so I'm 21-23 overall. Ty, you're 18-26, and then we go into the wheel. Who had the best week this week? On 3-1.
Oh, god damn. I didn't know that.
And it's now tied with me at 21-23 overall for the number 1 record. Yep.
Jesus Christ.
It won its favorite pick in Buffalo -2. I mean, I think we both kind of like that pick.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
I did say I like that one.
Its only loss was its dog. It picked Tennessee +6 against Minnesota. They lost by 10. It had the over in the Detroit game, and I mean, Detroit hit that by themselves. And then it had under in the Seattle-San Fran game, under 48, and it finished at 37. And it was funny, it wouldn't have mattered, wouldn't change my record, but I almost picked that over instead of the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game. And I mean, like I said, I would have went 0-4 either way. So that made me feel at least a little bit better, like, because if I would have saw that hit the over, and it's like, like the 2 I was really going between.
And then obviously the final matchup was I had the Chargers -1. Ryan had the Bengals +1, and Chargers did end up winning. So I was able to end up with a 1-3 record. But I like my picks a lot this week, Rye.
Yeah, this week I like a lot better.
I didn't like mine last week, if I'm being honest with you. I talked to a guy at work, and he kind of like looked at the games, like, I like this. I'm like, I questioned a lot of them, but I'm like, you know what? He wanted to throw me extra bills and make a bigger bet for the parlay, so I'm like, all right, dude, I'll ride it with you. And yeah, I texted him right afterwards. I'm like, I'm never letting you even talk to me about making bets ever again, because that was abysmal. And he agreed. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot more confident about these picks. If you want to go through our games, starting with the Thursday night game, which we are not going to include in our picks, but we will have a parlay for you. We just barely missed our last week parlay with the Eagles. I think we discussed this on last episode because we did record on Saturday. But, yeah, we were half a reception off from our parlay, so we're on the right track. We did kind of up it a little bit this week because DraftKings, who we're not sponsoring but we are using, is giving a 4-leg boost on Thursday Night Football. So we did have to do 4 legs here. I do like them. The only thing is iffy about it. It's a very shitty matchup. I don't love this game in general. I think it might not be that great of a game, but regardless, we will talk about it and make a parlay.
So for that Thursday game, we have Pittsburgh -3.5 in Cleveland, over under of 36.5. So this is, another divisional matchup that we were just talking about. And I think we both kind of agree we don't really expect this game to be that high scoring. We got to make some picks that we think are going to hit. I do like Pittsburgh in this game, though. I mean, I think 3.5 is not enough. I mean, they just...
Yeah, I agree. I think Pittsburgh's going to win by more than 3.5, which could have been one of the legs. But...
Yeah. First matchup between these two teams this season. I think they play again in like 2 weeks. So we got nothing to go off of this year. But, I mean, yeah, like the under 36.5, I don't mind. But starting off with the parlay, my first pick I was going to make is Jameis Winston over 212.5 passing yards. He's thrown for 40-plus attempts a game since he's been the full-time starter. He just chucks the ball as much as he possibly can. I think he's like over 300 think he's like 300 plus or 330 plus in 2 of the 3 games, and he's over 220 in the other one. So
Yeah.
he keeps throwing. He usually gets a decent amount of yards.
I was gonna say I did it. I was questioning this pick because Pittsburgh's defense, but you are right. The fact that Jameis does just let it loose willy nilly, so like
Yeah.
he might get a lot of turnovers, but he's gonna be airing the ball out enough that like 220 is reachable.
What's like when I was going in, like when I was like looking at the like his stats and stuff like that, and they're probably gonna have the line around like 230, and I was like that might be a little bit too much for me. And then when I saw 212
Mm-hmm.
and a half, I was like, all right, that's low enough where I don't mind it.
Yeah. And then my first pick for this parlay, I am taking George Pickens over 4.5 receptions. I know Devontae Smith 4.5 receptions burned us last week, but George Pickens is the number one guy. He gets him. He's Russell Wilson's favorite target, and he's been balling out this year. I think 4.5 is more than doable for him.
Let's say I mean like Russ is just it seems like his way of like he's like all right, I just need to pick like this guy like he's like the best receiver by far. I just need to throw him the ball and let him like come down with it, which I think is a smart. It's been working for them. They've been
Yeah.
winning games. He has like he's averaging like almost like 8-9 targets a game the
Mm-hmm.
past like 3 or 4, so not too bad. And then going on with George Pickens, I also did his over for yards, so 55.5 receiving yards over. Kind of along the same lines, he's hit that in all the past 4 weeks, and he's hit every single one by at least 20 yards of that total. So, feeling pretty
Yeah.
confident there.
And then the final pick for this parlay, I took my favorite guy on the Cleveland Browns. I think he gets a workload of the targets, and he's a big force to be hit in the red zone, and that is tight end David Njoku. We got him for an anytime touchdown. With all these picks combined on a parlay, without the boost, we're looking at plus 13. I don't know what boost you're going to get because we both got different ones. I got plus 20%. Ryan got plus 10. So with my 20%, it goes up to plus 1560. That gives you a $10 to win a $166 parlay. Ryan, let's just say you're going to get the 20% because that's a lot more
Yeah,
enticing.
yeah,
$10 to win $166. Hit that parlay. We'll throw it up on the screen now and hammer it with us because gives you something to watch this Thursday game. It's Steelers Browns. If you're not from any of those areas, why are you watching? You're watching to watch our parlay it. Come on.
and AFC North football is always good to watch. It's always a fun matchup. All right, moving on to the Sunday games. First one of the day we have listed is Kansas City minus 11 at Carolina. Over under of 42.5 points.
Do not. Oh wait, I do. I have this game on the under of 42.5 points.
All right.
Here are my reasons. The Panthers fucking suck, and Kansas City's defense is elite. Have a great run defense, and it feels like the Panthers' offense is mostly moved through Chuba Hubbard and possibly the emergence of Jonathan Brooks right now. I'm curious to see how he does and what would be his first game back. But yeah, I truly don't think this Panthers team can put up much points against this Chiefs defense, and Chiefs aren't the type of team to really blow out anybody. So I could see them keeping it with like under 24 points, and I don't think the Panthers are putting up anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Chiefs have been in. I mean, I don't know if it's the most one-score games, but they've been in a lot of one-score games this season. So I like that as well. I mean, with that, I don't hate Carolina plus 11, but at the same time, I'm not gonna pick it. I saw a lot of people talking about this online, kind of joking around, and like how funny it would have been if had Kansas City won last week, and then coming into this game undefeated still, and then the Panthers beat them, and then be
Yeah.
the Panthers are the team that take them and give them the first loss.
Yeah,
Would have
it
been really funny. I definitely would have betted if that was the case, but I'm not gonna bother doing that now.
like I said, my only concern would be that Chiefs are coming off of a loss and they're pissed off. But I think the only ones that the side that's going to be more pissed off is going to be the defense rather than the offense because the offense was putting up points with the Buffalo Bills. I think if anything, defense is coming off this game looking
Yeah.
at that as an embarrassment, and they're going to hammer down on the Panthers
Yeah.
and not let them budge. And like I said, the Chiefs aren't putting up more than 30-something points.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
Yeah,
think they'll pull off this 42.5 quite easily.
yeah. I don't think it's gonna be like a Detroit where they put up 52 and give up 6. So I
Yeah.
agree there.
Speaking of Detroit, next game on this list, I have Detroit Lions in Indianapolis. The Lions are minus 7.5 favorites, and the total is 50.5.
I'm taking the Lions and the over. So kind of like
Double
that.
whammy on this game, baby. One
Yeah, I
o'clock
mean,
could be 2 picks down.
it's just, I mean, my over and unders have not been good this season. That's been what's been killing me. And I feel like
Hmm.
the Lions just hit
They're
the
an
over in
over
every game.
machine. They're an over machine.
And it seems like they just hit it by themselves. Like they don't even need
Yeah.
the other team's help. Going to hope that I get some help from the Colts and Anthony Richardson. They
I mean, at
scored
what
points
point do
last
you
week.
start boosting it to like 57 or so? Because like you said, the Lions are hitting the over by themselves.
Yeah,
Like 50 does seem a little too tempting when their Lions are putting up 40 plus points every single week.
yeah. I mean, I think I think it's still a dominating game where the Detroit wins by 2+ scores. But I mean, at
Hmm.
least give me like a 30-20.
Hmm.
Oh, actually, that would not hit.
No, that wouldn't hit, right? You don't want
Give
that.
me 35-20. There we go. That'll work.
Give me 31 to 20, please.
35-20.
I do not have a pick for this game. I 100% would hit the over, and I honestly would 100% hit the Detroit Lions. I didn't look at the Lions for the over, but I think it's just I hit that so many times this year that it was almost being a dead horse, but it was working. And then like as soon as it didn't work for me, I'm like, all right, I'm done with this for now. Taking a break from the Lions overs, but I do love like the Lions are going to cover 7.5. I think they are going to cover a total of 50.5 combined too. So I do like those picks. I don't love doing 2 picks in one game. It does stress me out a lot, but
Yeah, I just that was the only like the over I saw right away that called out to me. There's a few other favorites that I didn't mind, but I was like, let me get this pain or joy out as early as I
I hear
can.
you.
Next up, we have Tampa Bay -5.5 in New York against the Giants, over under 42 points. And I think this is the was it Tommy DeVito game, right? I think we're
It is
getting
a Tommy
yeah.
DeVito game.
I mean, with that, I don't hate the Bucks -5.5. I mean, the Giants, I just feel like are, crumbling. But at the same time, just
Do you like the Giants' offense more now with Tommy DeVito?
it's hard to say you don't. But
I was gonna say, what are they coming? What's like? How much lower can they be?
yeah, that's kind of the thing. But I would just be slightly afraid that we all have these hopes for him after what he did last season, and then
Yeah,
he comes back and everyone's like, oh, he's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna be all like he's gonna be great, and then he just lays out a stinker out there, and everyone's like,
yeah.
oh.
I don't know. There's so much riz with the guy. He's such a like an interesting character. I feel like he can't come out and do a complete stinker. He's gonna be at least exciting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, but we'll have to
Yeah, I
wait and
don't have a
see.
pick for this game, but I
Don't hate the under either. I mean, 42
I'm
is kind of low, but you said
42 is low,
I don't really
and I
expect the
think
Giants to be scoring that many points.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times with these, like you have a quarterback come, like a backup quarterback or something come in, they look at who their like star players are and just force feed them, which is what I'm hoping happens with Malik Neighbors. Like Tommy DeVito comes out and is like, I have a star. I'm going to just throw the just
Yeah,
huck the ball at Malik Neighbors at all times and see
just
what can happen.
yeah,
Which
throw it up. Malik's down there somewhere.
yeah, so I don't know. I think Tampa Bay they might be getting Mike Evans back this week. I think might be big for
Oh yeah,
as well.
I forgot he's probably gonna come back this week.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
definitely would make me like Tampa Bay -5.5 more.
yeah, I think I would be leaning Tampa Bay. I don't know if I like the under on this though. I might be leaning over.
Yeah, I mean that Mike Evans part actually kind of might be pushing me over the edge.
All right, next game I got is New England Patriots at Miami. Dolphins are 7-point favorites, and the total is 46. I do not have this game either.
I'm not touching this.
Not touching it, huh? I don't know because the Patriots defense is so bad, but like their offense is looking better. But like the Dolphins, I think can expose a really bad defense with how fast they are. So like I would want to say the Dolphins are going to win by more than 7, but like the New England offense has been playing well, like
And
well
this is
enough that I don't think they deserve to be a full touchdown dogs.
and this is another divisional matchup, which like we said,
Yeah,
like I feel like it's a little risky. And I mean, I kind of agree with the Dolphins' offense. I think they kind of maybe start to get some things right. I mean, Jalen Waddle has been very underwhelming this season. It's not really
yeah. I
helping
mean,
me. And
Hill hasn't been that much
yeah,
better.
but you say I think really hoping for fantasy wise for me that Waddle can come back a little bit here.
All right, so yeah, I probably would say Dolphins -7, and honestly, the over.
Yeah, I would agree with the over because that's like we said, the one thing that seems like the Patriots can do right now is at least score a little bit. Next up, I have Minnesota -3.5 in Chicago against the Bears, over under of 39.5. Just divisional matchups. Actually, I mean that might be one of the weeks that the NFL just said every team's going to play the divisional opponent.
Yeah, I mean we got another one coming up too.
You
But
got 3 straight ones coming up.
yeah, I did take a pick from this divisional matchup game, even though we're going against everything we're talking about here. I like the way the Chicago Bears look. They almost beat a Green Bay Packers team that I believe is much better than this Minnesota Vikings team. I think the Packers deserve to be a higher spot than the Vikings. I think they're better than the Vikings. So I think the Bears, I don't think they're fully incended or a tanking mode, but I think they can come out. I think they might be able to beat the Vikings and really show them what Sam Darnold really is exposed. But if not, they're going to keep it within 3, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, the Vikings have been. I mean, they've won the past 2 games, but they barely beat the Jags, and then they beat the Titans by 10. But like the Titans also are not a good football team right now.
I would say the Bears are currently playing better than both those
Yeah,
teams.
and I mean, and like you say, coming off that, I mean, it's a heartbreaking loss, but at the same time, being that close, you hope that, there's still some confidence in that locker room walking away from like a close loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't hate that, and they are at home. Don't hate the under here with the fact that I feel like Minnesota's games have been all below this total the past couple weeks, and I mean the Bears don't really score that many points. I mean, yeah, I mean their last game also would have been under this total, just barely, but yeah, under here I don't mind.
Yeah, 39.5 is very low. I didn't want to touch that under, but this is me, right? The next game I got is Tennessee Titans at Houston Texans. Houston Texans are minus 8.5 favorites, and the total is 42. 8.5 is a lot, but I think the Texans cover 8.5. I think the Titans team is absolute garbage.
Yep, I would tend to agree. I just stayed away from this because I feel like every time one of us has picked the Texans to cover, they have just barely not.
Yeah.
It quite literally just seems like they don't cover by a half a point or point.
One thing I do love about these Texans is the reemergence of my absolute dog, my favorite running back for a long time period, because I was riding him with fantasy for every single year in a keeper league. Joe Mixon is being put on display as how good of a running back he is, and he was just behind a garbage Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. Like the dude is eating in Houston. It's brought joy to me, the Texans for me. And then Nico Collins coming back, another stud I have, and this Texans offense is just a lot more fun to watch going forward.
Yeah.
And just that Dallas game was that Nico Collins' first play was incredible, and then they get called back because an offensive lineman didn't know how that he had to stay within 5 yards of the offense or the line of scrimmage. But,
yeah, I mean, like you said, like watching Mixon run has definitely been fun to watch. It's kind of one of the things I'm a little more confused as to why the Texans haven't been performing as well this season. I mean, you get Mixon
sophomore slump for Stroud.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I can think of. Their defense is playing great.
Yeah, and Mixon's been playing well. I guess you really can only say that teams have tape on Stroud now and they're figuring him out a little bit. I mean, he's still doing okay, but
and he's just getting his number one back. When before that, he was playing a lot better.
That is true. But I mean, he got a new number one with Stephon Diggs as well.
Nah, he's no Nico Collins apparently. Nico Collins is a fucking unit.
Would agree with that. All right. Moving on to the NFC East matchup this week, we got the Dallas Cowboys in Washington against the Commanders. Big spread, Commanders minus 10.5, over under of 45.5 points. Just what a wild thing. I mean, there's no way I could tell you the last time the Commanders had a spread even close to this large against the Cowboys.
Dude, 10.5 is insane. I mean, I love it. I'm taking this game on the over. I'm taking the over on this game, 45.5. I think the Cowboys are pissed off at this line. I think they're embarrassed about what we just did to them. And I think both teams are embarrassed about what the Eagles just did to them. And I think they need to be like, all right, who the loser of this is going to be, they're going to look at like the Giants. We got to show out in this game or else we're going to be embarrassed. Obviously the Cowboys are already having an embarrassing season, and obviously it's Cooper Rush. But they're not taking this game lightly.
No, I mean, divisional matchup. I mean, like you said, I definitely think they're getting they feel probably a little disrespected with that line. I mean, like you said, none of them have ever experienced this. I know Jerry's probably down there freaking out.
It's the Commanders, and we're plus 10.5. Yeah.
I know the Commanders are probably feeling, after last week, Terry McLaurin was getting completely shut out by Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, he's got to be. Tell me they're not going to come out and light it up.
And they basically. They get a little mini bye with the fact that they played on Thursday last week, and you get the extra couple days.
This over. As far as points go, I don't even know if I'm confident taking the Commanders minus 10.5. Cooper Rush didn't look terrible.
I almost think I'd rather the 10.5 than the over, just because my only fear would be that the Cowboys don't really score much of anything.
I know, but he was feeding. Like Cooper Rush truly wasn't doing that bad, and that was against who did they play? Like Houston, who has a good defense. Like the
Yeah, no,
Commanders don't have a great defense.
they've gotten a lot better recently.
They have been playing better, but I truly think that
And I mean,
they'll be able to score.
I mean, Lattimore might be back this week for them too.
Like I said, I do like this over. I think both these teams are coming out of this game very pumped up and borderline disrespected.
Yeah, we'll see. You want to hit the first 405 game?
I got Denver Broncos at Las Vegas Raiders. Looking at this going into the season, I probably would have said that this is a unwatchable game. It borderline still is, but the Broncos are a lot of fun. Like, hey, really, the Broncos are the reason the redeeming factor of this game. What are they in the second place right now in their division? Like they're playing. Are they in first? I don't have it up right now.
Who, the Broncos?
The Broncos.
No, they're in third. I mean, they're behind the Chiefs and the Chargers. But like it's.
Oh, but they gotta be tied with the Chargers record wise.
I don't know. I mean,
feel like there's no way.
They're definitely like they're performing probably better than
their record says.
Yeah, they're 6-5 and Chargers 7-3. So I mean, they're playing well. I mean, they really. I think they should have beaten the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. I think it was they got kind of screwed there at the end. But I mean,
absolutely,
I definitely don't mind the 5.5.
I think a Broncos minus 5.5. Do I have this game or anything? No, I like the Broncos minus 5.5 a lot on this. Don't love. I probably would say the under, honestly, because Broncos defense is very strong, and I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to do anything on them.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing if it wasn't for the fact I think all the unders I took in the Broncos games early in the season all lost.
I feel like that's because the Broncos are starting to score now.
Yeah.
And this is the Raiders. I truly think that they're going to shut down the Raiders completely. Yeah, so I would say under and Broncos minus 5.5 from me.
Yeah, I definitely at least have the Broncos 5.5. Yeah, I mean, I might just say over just because I think the Broncos score enough points. Or if you get anything out of the Raiders, it could hit. But the first 425 game, I have San Fran in Green Bay. Green Bay's minus 2.5, over under 47.5 points. San Fran definitely having an underwhelming season. I mean, they got beat by the Seahawks last week. So, I mean, they've been beaten by the Seahawks and the Cardinals this season already. Just can't even win their own division. Struggling. With that, I'm taking the under 47.5 because I feel like the Niners and Packers barely getting up to 20 if they even got there. Kind of struggling to score, but kind of keeping the other teams in check and not letting them score. So I don't really see this total going that high in the 40s.
So you had the
under 47.5.
Niners, Packers under 47.5.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Yeah, another week of McCaffrey. Jordan Love questionably coming off of still recovering from an injury. My only question is both teams have running backs that are elite, but that could kind of be better in your favor of if they're going to go through the run. Juwan Jennings is coming off of a career game.
I mean, it's also just both teams I feel like have good defenses.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. So 47.5 is a lot of points. I could definitely see it. And who would you pick for the spread here?
I mean, probably the Packers. The Niners just can't. They've been struggling hard this season. It'd be hard for me to feel confident about that. I mean,
honestly, I think if I were to compare the Packers and the Seahawks, I think the Packers were leagues above better than the Seahawks, and the Seahawks just beat the Niners.
I mean, if I got an extra point here and it was plus 3.5, then I might take the Niners just because you get that nice little round number.
No, but a field goal wins the spread. I probably would lean Packers as well.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
I got Arizona. The last 4 o'clock game, right? There's only 3.
Well, there's 4. You have so there's only 3. You have one at 4:05 and then 2 at 4:25.
So I got Arizona Cardinals at Seattle. Seattle is minus 1 point favorites, and the total is 47.5.
Yeah, basically
they're gonna keep disrespecting these Arizona Cardinals, man.
Yeah, they're gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep backing them. Arizona +1. I mean, it's basically a coin flip game. I mean, you got Cardinals are minus 108 in the money line, and the Seahawks are minus 112. So really not much at all between them. I know it's a divisional matchup, but I mean the Cardinals looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
It's. I just think they can win this game. I know it is in Seattle. It kind of definitely doesn't help.
13th member.
Yeah.
13th teammate. Whatever they call it.
12th man.
12th man. That's what it is. Yeah.
But I like the Cardinals too much. I think they get this win.
I would pick the Cardinals in this as well. I mean, the 1 point doesn't really do shit for you, but overall. I still think the Cardinals will win the
Yeah,
game. So I do like the Cardinals. Over under.
that one that's tough for me. The Cardinals have been putting up some points, but with it being a
I
divisional game, I don't hate the under. I think I
Yeah,
might
I was
lean
gonna
that
say
way.
both teams would make me lean over, but the divisional matchup together, I
Yeah.
go like 47.5. Actually, yeah, I'd agree. I'd say Cardinals and under.
Going
Take us through it,
into
Bry.
the Sunday night game, we have our Philadelphia Eagles -2.5 in LA against the Rams. Over under is 48.5. I think that just flipped from like an hour ago when I put the lines in for the ticker. It was 49.5. Now it's 48.5.
Wow. Well, I will be taking the Eagles again, -2.5 against the Los Angeles Rams. I don't care if it's in LA. We've gone to LA and won before. This team is disgusting. Give me Cooper Cup against Cooper DeJean. I want the white on white, and we're gonna win. This team is disgusting. Give me 2.5.
Yeah, I mean our secondary. Yeah, I mean you have Quinion Mitchell is just consistently locking up every team's basically top wide receiver. It's
Mm-hmm.
just he's yeah, I mean he's a prison warden at this point, just locking
Mm-hmm.
everyone up.
Guantanamo Bay, baby.
Yeah, can't wait to see what they do against this offense. I think it should look really good. I do like the -2.5. I told him earlier I would also probably be leaning in on that and picking that. But yeah, I think I would have also picked this if it wasn't for the fact that I would just feel so bad, and I feel like I would just put bad luck on it if saying I'm not going to pick them the whole season. I was done with it, and then pick this spread, and then they would end up losing. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you
I'm
did
not
it right.
I'm not going to feel that bad juju on myself.
Yeah, I mean, you did it earlier in the season, didn't you?
Wait, no, I'm saying after I said I'm not going to pick their
Right,
our
because
games
you did
anymore.
that exact thing.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think you shouldn't take this game and let me
yeah.
have it.
I'm not. I mean, I probably will bet it separately, but it's not part of this.
It's
I
not
like
part of this, right?
no, I like the over though. I feel like the Eagles. I mean, we got to start scoring some points on the first drive,
Yeah.
but I mean, we just consistently just put up a ton of points in the second half. I mean, I think we beat
The
the
Rams
Ram.
having a hot. The Rams have a hot offense, but against our elite defense, though.
I mean, I think they might be able to run the ball a decent amount. I feel like that's the one area we kind of been struggling a little bit with is our rush
Yeah.
defense. So I think Kyron Williams might be able to get some decent runs out there. But
We'll see. 48.5 is a lot, but definitely Eagles -2.5. Easy.
yeah,
And then the final game of the week, Monday night. I like this matchup. This is going to be a fun Monday night game. It is Baltimore Ravens at LA Chargers. Ravens are -3. That's it. And it is a total of 50 points. These Chargers are a threat. They put only +3 against the Ravens. That's amazing. The
I mean,
Chargers, look at them.
both teams are. I mean, just it's
I mean,
kind of. I mean, they're
one's
right around
going up and one's coming down.
the same records. Ravens 7-4, Chargers 7-3. I mean, it's like I said. I didn't expect last week the Chargers beating the Bengals by what they did, and then I mean you're playing a team that barely beat the Bengals. I mean, I know the Chargers game was close until the very end, so I don't. I
Where
mean,
was the our matchup game? Was that in LA or was that in Cincinnati?
that I'm not positive with. Let
I can't
me.
remember what. I remember I watched a good portion of it, but I can't remember what field I was seeing.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was a late night watch. I kind of ended up just. It looked like it was in LA. Yeah.
Okay, so back-to-back home games
Yep.
and big AFC matchups.
And like it's, I think the Chargers are just going to be able to kind of maybe get up a little bit and then just pound the rock and kind of wither away this Baltimore team.
The Ravens' defense looked good against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's offense is very shaky.
Yeah.
I think this Chargers offense can really expose the Ravens' defense.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like guys like J.K. Dobbins catching the ball out of the backfield.
I mean, McConkey's been balling out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Herbert's throwing the ball more than.
Herbert's playing crazy, yeah. So
like,
that's going to be a fun game, I think. I really hope it's close.
Over 50, that, to me, it might be a little too much.
Yeah. I probably would take Chargers +3, though.
Yeah, I would like the Chargers +3. I mean, yeah, like at home, it's a little too many points. Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate the Chargers and the under. Just like I said, I think 50 is a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also could see it hitting. But yeah, I'd take Chargers and the under.
All right. Want to get that wheel rolling?
Oh yeah. All right, let's see. Its favorite is going to be. Got Minnesota at Chicago. So Minnesota -3.5. So it's going against your dog.
Oh, yeah. Son of a bitch.
For a dog, we got Tampa Bay at New York Giants. So we got New York plus
5.5.
5.5. Thank you. For the over, what do we got? Really hoping the wheel has a bad week and I have an up. Same game, Tampa Bay at New York. What's the over on that one?
42. I like that one too.
Yeah, like I said, not too bad. I really hope that this has a bad week though, and I have a good one so I can get back ahead. That one's hard. I think it's in the middle. I'm just gonna roll it again. Doesn't help when the ticker's black and then Detroit Indy. No, don't.
3.5.
Yeah, no, I know. It's the one I picked. I really hope.
It's taking the under though, isn't it?
Yep, that's. I mean,
Ooh,
good. That's good for me. Yeah,
against the wheel.
it's good for me. There we go. It won't do it.
Yeah.
All right. For our NFL Week 12 picks, my favorite is Detroit minus 7.5 in Indy. My dog is Arizona +1 at Seattle. My over is Detroit at Indy over 50.5, and my under is San Fran at Green Bay under 47.5.
My picks, I have my favorite is the Eagles minus 2.5 against the Los Angeles Rams in LA. My dog is gonna be the Chicago Bears plus 3.5 against the Minnesota Vikings in Chicago. Over, I have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders in Washington of 48.5. No, I'm sorry, 45.5. And my under is going to be the Chiefs at Carolina Panthers under 42.5.
And then the Wheels picks, its favorite is Minnesota minus 3.5 at Chicago. Its dog is Tampa Bay at New York Giants. Giants plus 5.5. Over Tampa Bay at New York Giants over 42. And then under Detroit at Indy under 50.5. Those are our Week 12 picks. And you already gave our parlay out, right, for the clip?
I did. I think I made it like clip worthy.
Yeah. So we should be good there. All right. Those are our picks for this week. Good luck, everyone. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Good luck. Go Birds.
Go Birds.